Hello and welcome to the Common Ground podcast. Today we have a special guest here. We have the chairman of the Australian Football Committee, Joe Tucker.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be
Welcome.
here.
It's a pleasure to be here. I don't. So let's start off with the first question. Um, the World Cup obviously was a huge disappointment to you. The finals, I think, this weekend. How do you
Yeah,
figure what went wrong in the World Cup?
well, our goal for the World Cup was to reach let's say, the quarterfinals. Obviously we got a hard group. Unfortunately, got Spain and Jamaica. Um, we were very close to making out of the group. Um, Spain, we didn't even have our main squad there. We nearly won that match, but two late goals by Spain led to defeat. Could have got a win, could have got a draw. Obviously forfeit against Ukraine, which was like, I guess, okay, I guess. If we did play them, I was hoping we could get a few goals so we could get our goal difference up. Because obviously the match against Jamaica was a huge one. The first match was a draw, which, because no team was in front technically, we had to play a rematch. If we at least drawed against Spain, we would have gone through. And if we played Ukraine, we might have got a better goal difference. But unfortunately, it turned out how it was and played a rematch. Obviously, lost that match. It was quite heartbreaking because we know we were good. We were a good squad. We got into a hard group. Good teams. Jamaica, past World Cup winners. Spain made it all the way to the semi-finals. But we tried to work off that. Obviously, it was heartbreaking, but no, we try to look at the good sides. We did well, relatively well. Trying to make it through, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. So
Speaking on the World Cup squad, what was the most nervous part of the World Cup?
I'd say probably the last 10 minutes against Spain, because we were beating a very good squad there. That's what I personally think, because we were beating a very good squad. We didn't have our main squad. We were up, I think it was 2-1. But then they scored 2-2, hoping to at least get that draw. The third goal went in injury time.
Let's go back to all the group. You guys were definitely one of the favorites coming into the group. Did that put a little bit of pressure onto you progressing towards the later knockout stage?
Don't really think we had that much pressure. I think really every team was thinking the same thing coming into that group, probably except for Ukraine. But pressure wise, I think the only really pressure I had was when we were in the dying minutes of games. Obviously, trying to get the result we wanted. There was a bit of pressure, but there wasn't that much.
Yeah, we also saw that, in my opinion, in any other group that in the World Cup you would have made it through. You were just unlucky to be potted into this group. With the match against Jamaica, how many
Yeah.
players did you have? Yeah, was that the last match of the group stage? And what was your feeling towards the last, let's say, 20 to 10 minutes?
This is the first match or the second match against
The
Jamaica?
second match, the last match.
I mean, coming to that game, we felt like we were going to win, because the first match against Jamaica, we had quite a few chances. We should have won that game, really. But first half, bit ordinary. Coming to the second half, they scored, and just felt Yeah, like coming to the last 10, 20 minutes, it just felt hard. You know, Jamaica had it on us that match. You know, we were struggling to just get the ball up. You know, we ended up losing that match. So, you know, that last 10 to 20 minutes was probably one of the hardest matches we've ever played. So,
Yeah.
Speaking
I'll
about
give it back to
the World Cup, what was the immediate reaction after the World Cup? Did you immediately think that you needed to improve, or were you quite happy with the squad?
I think I really wanted to build on the squad. I wanted to get quite a few more players in. You know, during the World Cup, we gradually lost players. Obviously, before the World Cup, we had a quite a star lineup. You know, we had the likes of Raheem, you know, those kind of guys. Stormy, those players ended up going to India. So,
Well, India's in the
um,
final, aren't they?
yeah, against Italy. Like personally,
Who's last year?
I'm not personally. I like India. You know, they're an Asian team. You know, they're representing Asia in the final. You know, most of the players are pretty chill. You know, Raheem, I like Raheem. But you know, it was kind of annoying that we lost. We lost quite a few players to them just before the World Cup. And obviously, we lost a few more players. We lost George the Nine, one of us, probably our captain-like player. So yeah, after the World Cup, I wanted to build on that squad. And obviously, you saw the A-League opening. That was pretty much a plan to help grow their national team. You know, get a few players in, while at the same time, you know, operating it as a competitive FIFA league, which it has done successfully. We have been able to bring a few more players in. So, yeah.
Let's talk about India. Most players from India are playing domestic football in Australia in the A-League.
Yeah.
Do you have a feeling that they do have plans coming back to Australia, or do you think that most of them will probably stay in India for a little bit longer?
I think definitely they'll stay in India. I think India will probably go on for quite a while. Obviously they're playing in the AFF Cup, so you know, I think coming to Australia, they're just coming to the domestic league. You know, A-League is pretty much the only league active in Asia. So
Yeah, let's talk about the AFF Mitsubishi Electric Cup. There are a lot of tough teams. Well, all of the teams are tough.
yeah,
Speaking of all the teams, I would say you're probably the second best team in that in the whole competition. Of course, behind India. But you did have an upset loss against Vietnam. Can you talk to me what happened with their game strategy and what do you think should have gone better?
that game was it's quite upsetting. Could have really won that game. Obviously we didn't have our main keeper. Playing with 6 players, you know, I think we did relatively well, you know, against very reachy Vietnam side. You know, there were quite a few chances where we could have scored. You know, all of the players quite reachy. We did W hold a bit.
Yeah, let's go back to the reach. They were reaching like crazy. Like
Yeah.
they were.
Every time we tried to clear the ball,
Yeah.
it would just come back.
Yeah,
But,
that's unfortunate.
yeah.
What are your next matches against? Who was your next match?
I think it's Thailand.
So Thailand, in my opinion, will be the loss, the team that you should be able to beat.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen because Thailand has lots of former Singapore Premier League players, like all the good ones.
Yeah,
and it's also
team
ran
players.
by it was Singapore before it turned to Thailand. So yeah, I think that it's gonna be a tough match, but I think the Aussies Socceroos will make it through that match quite easily.
Yeah, and you've also seen India, which they are in the finals. they are the favourites coming into the competition. They are in my opinion, they probably are going to win the competition against. This is my prediction. You and India will be in the final. India will win. What are your goals for AFF, and do you see yourself winning the whole tournament?
I think our goals for AFF is probably to make the final. As you've said, it is a very tough competition. You've got Thailand, Vietnam, and India. We were just versus India, versus Vietnam, of course. They're very ragey. India, finals of the World Cup. Obviously, Thailand, as you said, a lot of good players. But I reckon we can make the final if we do play well, we play smart. If not, at least third, I'd say.
I do have a question.
Oh.
What are you doing to try to win or get to the finals of this?
I think working on tactical play, working on obviously improving after games. After the Vietnam game, I said a lot to the team about how to improve. Obviously that game didn't have our main keeper, a few main players. So hopefully coming into next match we do.
Let's go to the let's go to the A League. He's messing with the cameras. He's messing with the cameras. Let's go to the A League. Of course, there was the Water Bottle Cup that happened Friday, and the next match is going to be on Monday. With the new announced Australia Invitational Cup, do you have any comments on that? Because I knew there was a few problems when setting that cup up. Of course, I was in the group chat with you while you were setting it up, and there was a few problems. Do you have any comments on? Do you think Lachlan's going to be a good owner for the Australian Cup?
Yeah, so I'll just elaborate on what happened first. Basically, Lachlan came to me the idea of the Australia Cup, or wanted to own the Australia Cup. Obviously, I didn't really know how that would go, since he is a team owner. But obviously he changed it up a bit. He made it into a bit of a invitational tournament. So I said to him, basically, that's fine. You can do. You just have to change the name to the Invitational Cup or something like that. Which he did. So, Football Australia, we will be supplying referees and oversight to that tournament. But I think Lachlan will do a good job. Yeah, he knows stuff. So
moving on, they are planning to start off at AFC Champions League after the World Cup. I know because I used to be a board director. Do you have plans of sending at least one or two of those teams to the AFC Champions League?
I think, definitely when it's top two teams probably going to go to the Champions League. Obviously we are planning to expand to two more teams next season. In the A League.
Who are those teams? That's it.
I can't. Well, they're not really confirmed so far, but we are hoping for Sydney FC and obviously Melbourne City. So for the Sydney and Melbourne derbies.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously that hasn't been confirmed so far, but this is what we are hoping to do. But yeah, we are definitely going to send obviously teams to the Champions League. We've got very talented players in Australia trying domestic competition. So I believe they can win the tournament.
Yeah. After the A League or the AFF Cup is done, do you plan on hosting some international friendlies back on home soil? Or do you plan on just keep on training towards the next edition of the AFC Cup or the World Cup next year?
I think I definitely, when we don't have our A League matches on or we don't have any tournament on internationally, we are definitely going to have friendlies. Obviously, we've got the development of stadiums currently going.
Oh, what stadiums are you developing?
Currently, Suncorp, and we're hoping to get Sydney Football Stadium up. Also, possibly a Melbourne Rectangular Stadium. So if we do get a development successfully, we will try to hopefully host a few friendlies in those stadiums.
And the bigger question is, well, this is a question that I've wanted to ask you for a long time. Really haven't had the opportunity to ask you, but with all these new stadiums, does Australia want to run for the World Cup next year?
Absolutely. I think that's the one of the reasons we're making a lot of games. We want to bid for the World Cup. We want to bring World Cup to Australian soil. Show off what this great country can host. So yeah, definitely we will be bidding for the World Cup.
With that World Cup bid, obviously there's going to be lots of planning involved. Like lots of planning, lots of development, lots of meetings. How will you deal with all that pressure of hosting the biggest Roblox soccer event?
Well, we're going to work with obviously we're going to set up a committee. We're going to work with the AU group, the AU government, as well as obviously FIFA to ensure that runs all smoothly. Because we definitely want to cherish World Cup here on home soil.
Yeah. Talking about the World Cup, Mexico, do you have a prediction for the final?
I think, it's very honestly, personally, I probably like India better, but Italy's a very good side. So
They won last year, right?
pardon?
They won the Euros.
Euros were in Ireland last year.
No, the Euros were in North Macedonia
Oh yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Italy won the World Cup last year in Ireland.
And they also won the Euros this year.
Did they?
Yeah, I think so. No, it was Estonia. It may have been Estonia they won the Euros.
Yeah, I can't really tell. You know.
So-
they're two
And also
very good teams.
bidding for. Let's talk about bidding for the World Cup. Will you also be bidding for maybe smaller competitions, aka the AFC Cup, just to get like ready for the World Cup or something?
I think if we were allowed to bid for both the AFC Cup and the World Cup, we definitely will bid for both.
Okay, that's enough. That's all we have for today. Thanks for coming
Oh yeah,
in.
I have one question.
Joe
I have one question.
Thank you.
What's the future for Australian football, and how will you incorporate the future into being active and being like all that stuff?
I think the future is working on obviously expanding the A League. More teams can come in every season. Obviously, I think maybe also expanding into the AU group, getting some of those who aren't really experienced in Roblox football to maybe join a sport team, with a reserve role, maybe even the introduction of academies, to give them something fun to do, because this is really all something fun to do, something to like. So I think we're gonna be incorporating into the AU group as well as improving the national team.
The Australian Football Committee and the Australian football team has lots of potential. We will finish this little podcast thing. Any words, AJ, Joe, and James?
Yeah, I feel like
Nope.
Australia has a huge bid for the World Cup in 2023, if I'm not mistaken. But no, I don't really have any more. So thank you, Joe Tucker, for joining us on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And, yeah,
Like and
For coming.
subscribe.
Common ground. Like and
Shut
subscribe.
up.
Yeah.
This is Common Ground, and yeah, stay tuned for the next episode.
Yeah.